It's recap time. 3, 2. Hey, quick interruption, Future Chip here. If you're coming from the previous video and you already know the drill, you can skip directly to the recap. Otherwise, if this is your first time, I'll let you with the intro and enjoy the episode. 1. Hello everybody and welcome to the Shower Podcast, the podcast where I'm in my shower and you do you. I'm your host Chip and this is not my usual intro. This is a bit of a special episode. Unfortunately, I will be away for a few days and I found out this interesting way of filling the gaps with recaps from previous episodes. If this is your first time here, use it as an opportunity to find topics that you might be interested in and go back to listen to the original ones. If you are a usual listener of the Shower Podcast, well, again, this might be a rehearsal of topics that you might be interested in. Otherwise, I understand if you want to wait for me to be back. But in the meanwhile, the podcast needs to continue and we need to reach day 365. Having said that, I will not keep you longer. Thank you very much for listening. As always, a like and a subscribe, they are always welcome. And now, recap time.
Welcome to the Deep Dive. Our mission today is to give you a shortcut, a way to reclaim one of your most valuable and, let's be honest, rapidly depleting resources, your attention.
Yeah, and we're doing that by diving into two fantastic recent weekend challenges from Chip's program, the Shower Podcast.
We're looking at 24 hours with no notifications and prune your feeds, fix your brain. And they really are a perfect 1-2 punch.
They really are. They work together so well. The first one is all about when information hits you. The second is about what information you're letting in.
And look, if you like the sound of these challenges, we really encourage you to go catch up on those original episodes. They're excellent.
Absolutely. But for now, we've pulled out the most actionable advice and the research that proves these things actually work. So where should we start? I guess with the interruptions.
The constant draining stream. We've all felt it, that little buzz or ping in our pocket. Chip identifies this perfectly. He says it's an illusion of urgency.
Right. Most of what arrives isn't urgent, it just arrives first. It's not one big issue, it's hundreds of tiny little thefts of your focus.
And those thefts leave your mind just completely fragmented.
That is the core issue, the cognitive cost.
Yeah.
Every single alert, every flash of light, it forces a task switch in your brain. And that switch is incredibly expensive.
How expensive are we really talking? Because, sometimes I feel like I just glance at a notification and I keep going. Does that quick look really derail everything?
It does. I mean, the research is, well, it's pretty brutal on this. Gloria Mark at UC Irvine has spent years studying this exact thing.
Okay.
She found that after an interruption, people take many minutes, often more than 20, to fully get back to the focused state they were in before the ping.
20 minutes.
20 minutes. So you're not losing 1 second to check the alert. You're losing 5, 10, maybe even more minutes of recovery time afterwards. A few alerts an hour, and, well, you do the math. You could be spending half your time just trying to get back on track.
So we're basically in a constant state of cognitive debt. We're spending minutes trying to recover what a few seconds stole from us. And that has to feel stressful, even if you don't notice it consciously.
It absolutely does. Mark found that stress levels rise in direct proportion to how often you're switching tasks. And other researchers, Custin and Krishliff and his colleagues, they backed this up.
How so?
They found a direct, measurable difference. When people had their notifications on, they reported more symptoms of inattention and hyperactivity. They felt jumpy.
Jumpy, I get that. Vigilant.
Exactly. And when those same notifications were silenced, those symptoms just dropped immediately.
Wow. So our phone settings are literally dictating our internal state of mind.
That's it. We are training our brains to be driven by external things, to just wait for the next stimulus. The more your tools nudge you, the less you get to rely on your own focus.
Which brings us to the remedy. The notification fast. It's not forever. It's a 24-hour reset. It's designed to prove to yourself which alerts are actually worth the interruption.
It's just a moment of silence, really. For one day, the rule is to turn off everything that isn't absolutely mission critical.
Okay, so what gets a pass? What are the exceptions?
You keep just 2 lines open. 1, direct phone calls from your favorites. Family, partners, people who might genuinely need you in an emergency.
Right.
And 2, necessary calendar alerts. An
Right.
appointment you absolutely cannot miss. Everything else, every email, news alert, social media message, it all gets silenced. It can wait.
That sounds simple on paper, but I can already hear people thinking about the habit, the reflex. Even if the phone is silent, your hand just sort of drifts toward it.
And that's why the tactical shift is so important. You have to physically move the phone off your body, put it out of arm's reach when you're trying to focus. And there's another great little psychological trick.
I think I know what you're going to say. Grayscale.
Grayscale mode.
Yeah, I love that one. It turns your phone from this, like, exciting casino into a boring spreadsheet.
Precisely. Those bright red notification badges, the colors, we're conditioned by them. Grayscale just sucks the visual reward right out of it. It makes the urge to tap the screen way less sticky.
And that conditioning is behind the phantom buzz.
Yeah.
That feeling your phone vibrated when it actually didn't, it's the fear of, what if I miss something important?
That fear is Pavlov's bell ringing in your pocket. You've been trained by hundreds of these tiny, unpredictable rewards to expect the next one. But if you can just hold firm, let those first few urges pass, your mind starts to get quiet.
The payoff is so fast, you read a paragraph and you actually retain it. You don't have to scroll back up. An email that would normally take 20 minutes because of pings now takes 5.
And critically, your rest improves. When you let a gap in your day stay a gap, you're in line at the store, you're on the couch, your brain is actually allowed to wander and connect and recover.
That's where the good ideas come from.
It is. That's where memory gets consolidated. The notification addiction steals that recovery time.
So the 24 hours ends. But the real learning is just beginning. You look back and you realize almost none of that stuff actually needed to interrupt you.
And that's the big shift. You move to a new operating mode. Pull, not push. You reverse the power dynamic. Instead of the app deciding when to talk to you, you decide when you'll check your messages or your news.
So what does that look like in the real world? I mean, for people who use tools like Slack or Teams all day for work.
It means scheduled batching. You tell yourself or your team, I check these tools at 10 a.m., 1 p.m., and 4 p.m. You don't leave them running in the background, constantly pulling at your attention. You teach the tool to wait its turn.
So you're not banning it, you're just putting it on your schedule, not its schedule.
Exactly. You're insisting it respects your focus.
Okay, so we've successfully controlled the when. We've turned down the noise. We've created this quiet room. But now that we're intentionally pulling information in, this is where it gets really interesting. The quality of what's in those feeds suddenly becomes crystal clear.
This is the essential bridge. The notification fast is defensive. It sets a boundary. The second challenge, pruning your feeds, is proactive. It's about ensuring that what you invite back into that quiet space is actually worth your time.
We're moving from attention scarcity to information quality.
Exactly.
And Chip's metaphor for this is just brilliant. The garden. He says, your attention is a garden. If you let the weeds, all the noise grow, they take all the water and light.
And if you never plant any signal, you never get a harvest. So the mission is very practical. Prune 5 and plant 3. It's an admission that the default settings of our digital world are, frankly, hostile to our goals.
That hostility is such a key idea. You have to remember, most feeds are not designed to inform us or give us the truth. They're designed for one thing, to maximize our time on the site.
Their success metric is engagement, not enlightenment. And that's what leads to content that's just optimized for an emotional reaction. I mean, think about that big MIT study.
Oh, the one on false news?
That's the one. Vosaki, Roy, and Errol. They found that false news spreads faster, further, and deeper online than true news.
And why is that again? Why does a lie have an edge over the truth online?
Novelty and emotion. True information often requires a bit of effort, a bit of context. False news, sensational stuff, it delivers a really quick, easy emotional hit. And the algorithms, well, they don't care about truth. They just see what grabs attention the fastest.
So the signal is constantly being drowned out by the noise because the noise is more immediately rewarding to our brains.
And the cost isn't just mental. Another study by Alcott and Getz showed that people who stepped away from a major social platform for just a short time reported measurably better well-being. They literally found more free time in their week.
It's not that the tools are inherently evil, it's that the default diet they serve us is often just corrosive.
So we have to become our own curators, intentional curators. Let's talk about pruning. How do you spot a weed?
I love the self-test Chip suggests. Open up your main feed, whatever it is, and just notice what your body does as you scroll.
Yes. How do you feel when you close the app? Do you feel informed, calm, or do you feel tense, a little irritated, maybe even empty?
Anything that consistently gives you that negative physical or emotional hit, that's a weed. It's taking nutrients from your garden.
And the action step is simple, but it feels hard. Unfollow, mute, or unsubscribe.
It can feel so drastic, can't it? especially if you have that reflex to check certain accounts.
So if unfollowing feels like too much, here's the trick. Just hide it for a week. Test it. What you'll probably find is you don't miss the content. You just miss the reflex of opening something when you're bored.
You're weakening that conditioned muscle memory we talked about earlier.
Exactly. You remove the stimulus, the muscle memory fades.
So once the weeds are gone, you have all this reclaimed mental space. And now it's time for the proactive part, planting the signal, filling that space intentionally.
Which is why you choose just 3 high signal sources. These are voices that teach you something, that provide context, that build arguments with evidence, people who respect your attention.
It could be a journalist, a researcher, a high-quality newsletter that only comes once a week.
Sure, and then you have to make sure you actually visit the garden you've built, instead of just defaulting back to the slot machine of the main feed.
How do you do that?
You use the platform's own tools against it. If it has lists or custom feeds, use them. Pin those 3 high signal sources right where your thumb naturally goes. You're intentionally building a new, better path for your old habits to follow.
So curation isn't a one-time purge.
Yeah.
It's seasonal.
Exactly. You have to revisit your garden every month or so, and you ask yourself a simple question. What made me better, and what just made me busy?
Promote the first, retire the second.
Ruthlessly. And, plant one new seed every so often just to keep discovery alive, see if it earns a permanent spot.
When you put these 2 challenges together, the value is just immense. By controlling the interruptions with the fast and then curating the inputs with the garden, you move toward a completely self-directed thinking diet. The result is getting the news you need without the jitter, or enjoying entertainment that doesn't just swallow your whole afternoon. You shift from being a passive consumer to an active curator of your own mind.
Precisely, and the biggest benefit is you get those quiet moments back. Chip said it so well. When the brain isn't constantly being yanked back to attention, it's allowed to wander, connect, and recover.
Which really raises an important question, something for you, the listener, to think about now that you have these tools.
Right. If you successfully reclaim all these fragmented minutes and hours that we've been talking about, what is the one meaningful, deep focus project or creative thing that you will finally dedicate that recovered mental space to? Something for you to mull over on your own.
A truly powerful challenge to take with you. Thank you for joining us to this deep dive into Chip's blueprint for an attention reset. Thank you very much for listening. See you tomorrow.